Hi all, welcome back. So this one might be a bit of a noisy one as I've got a new little toy going off in the background, but we'll get to that in a second. So it's been a little while, let's dive in, see where we're up to. As you can see, I've got the Bliss Bob archers laid out. As you might have seen my Facebook post, unfortunately I had one of these lamps, decided it wanted to drop onto a couple of them, and one of the Bliss Bob archers and one of the homunculus just got obliterated. Well, the homunculus did. The archer wasn't so bad. I can't exactly, with perfect honest, remember which one it was. Which is good, because it means the repair was that was done was pretty good. So if I get two of these, I'm going to be able to get a little bit. This one's the unbroken one. This one's the broken one. So the brake, let's see if we can actually get it picked up. As you might see now, it's here, and this tip broke off. And then I believe it was another one of the, might have been this stand. I don't know. This tip broke off right at the bottom, and then the cup just blew out. But from, say, across the table, what's a fair distance? Should we say that? I think it's too noticeable with paint, so not the worst in the world. Right. So I've done the repairs on those, and I've finished off. I've done all the first layer of skin on all the Bliss Bobs, and I've got that recorded so I can do some editing magic later. And I've also started to do the leather work. So get this one. So the leather work is going to be dead simple. It's just used scale colour black leather, C32, and I've just gone over the leather parts. So there, a lot of the straps, I like the idea of them being in leather, so that's what they are. Now I've also got a lot of bits that are going to be leather, but I want it to have more of like that blue black leather look, more PVC-ish. We're not going to put a gloss varnish over it, but a lot of the bits on here had like staining or overspill, I should say, over painting from the contrast paint. So the way that I've dealt with that is I just decided, let's have a go just going over it. I couldn't go over it in just the white ink because that would be too bright. I couldn't go over it in the grey, that would be too dark. So I just mixed the two together to see what would happen. I've not mixed ink in with the surface primer stuff before. Worked fine, absolutely fine. It's a little thin, but it's done the job. It's exactly what I needed it to do. It's not completely covered everything. Like if we have a look here, you see just about, there's a tiny little blue patch there. That's not going to make a difference. So when the next stage is going to be a Drakenhof Nightshade over all the bits I want to be PVC, and then it's going to have, I'm going to have three or four areas of the model. 3 areas of the model. So it's going to be the bits that I've done Drakenhof Nightshade. There'll be the bits like the bow quiver that I've done scale colour black leather, and then the bits like the bow that I just want pure black, and the hair which will be just pure black because I want it to be more like a greyish black. That's going to give me 3 different shades of black, but on the same miniature, so it'll all look different, hopefully. Well, not hopefully, I've done it before, I know exactly how it's going to come out, but I've got to get to that at some point, and there's a lot of miniatures to get through. So, as you might see, after a little while, I decided to stop doing the bits that I was going to paint gold in the contrast paint, as the gold's got really good coverage, even over white, so I've just stopped bothering. It's just going to save me time. I'm going to try cut down as much as I can of painting things twice, but we shall see. Let's see how that turns out. Anyway, that's what I've done with the Heat Nights. And the reason it's not going to be a Heat Night hobby update and just a general one is I've done my first print. So this, as a lot of you may or may not be aware, is the Anycubic Cube. It's the test print that comes on the USB sticks with, I do believe, all at least resin printers. So the photons that I've got, it's printed out very nicely. As you can see, it's got their little logo. Can you get that Anycubic on the inside? Yeah, a couple of Anycubic symbols. So that was done with a brand new resin in a new printer, and then I cured it in my brand new wash and cure station, which I'm very happy with. But the sound you're hearing at the moment is my 3D printer having a go at my first STL file that I've compiled together for this printer with this resin. So I'm using, let's see if we can get this on here, this resin, Fast Navy Grey. Now I've been told the Fast series is a little brittle, but the Navy Grey specifically in this series has a lot more flex to it. So I thought, okay, I'll try it. And I've seen people mix in different resins, like a bit of another resin to make it a bit more flexible, but I'll be perfectly honest, the settings I've got it at, let's see if we can get that on cam, that is pretty flexible. No, it's not breaking. That's as good as I need for a miniature. It's not any more or less flexible than this plastic, really, that I can tell. Might be a little more brittle, as this will tend to bend, like go white, and then it will fray. This will just snap a bit like spaghetti at some point, but for the most part, for game purposes, I think that's fine. So I've had a few 3D prints before. Obviously, that's what this was on my incredibly old generation Photon. So it's past its day. It's now going to get relegated to doing scenery and stuff. And on the scenery note, I've heard a lot of, and I did used to agree, I'll be honest, I have a lot of ideas of using resin for scenery, unless it's small detailed parts, it's just not very cost effective. Now, I'm not sure how it works out in other currencies, but this off Amazon, you might be able to get it cheaper, but this off Amazon was £40, thereabouts. £40. That's expensive. Yes, it will make a lot of models, but for big terrain pieces, no. This, however, so I've used that Eco resin before, which is what the previous print was in, but it was in the Eco green. This is in the Eco translucent green. So apart from the fact I've always wanted to have a go with the translucent resins, because I think they look really cool. This was £16 for a kilogram. I don't know how does that work out in litres? I thought these were a litre, but could be very wrong. No, it says it on the bottom. Definitely want to get that on camera. 1,000 millilitres. So yeah, a litre. So that was £16. Now that is by far more affordable. I'm not going to do big massive stones or anything with it, at least not planning to. I am, however, planning to do Necromunda scenery, which will have a lot of terrain that'll be very wiry and or just have flat walls. £16 a litre, I can deal with that. That's starting to get towards filament prices. Might not be filament prices, but it's getting towards it, so I'm going to test that out. And if at the very worst it is not cost effective, you don't get a lot of scenery, hey, it's £16 for a litre, who cares? I'll have figured that out, so no big deal. The wash and cure station, I've got the wash and cure, I think it's wash and cure plus, I don't know if that's like 2.0 or whatever, but it's a little bigger, and I think it's to fit like the bigger build plates, like the Mono X6K, which is what I've got going at the moment. You can just fit the build plate straight in. I haven't done that yet because I haven't got enough alcohol in there to really warrant it, especially since that was the only thing I was washing, so what's the point? But there's a good chance that when this print does, because I'm printing a cockatrice, so it's going to be about, I think, about that big, so fair bit bigger, and the alcohol on this covered up to about here, so we'll need to put another load in, but I've got another 10 litres of alcohol to pour in, so it won't be much of a problem. So that's what we've got there. Another thing that I've bought, which I'm just going to have to move, the Keeper of Secrets, that you might have seen off my Facebook, is some aluminium sulfate. So what I've seen is you can mix this in with the alcohol, but it won't dissolve amazingly. But what you can do is mix it in with a tiny bit of water, just to dissolve all the powder, and then once the crystals have dissolved, you can mix that in with your alcohol, and it will allow all the resin particles that are floating in your dirty resin to coagulate, and they'll form like a glue, they'll bond together easier in that. So when it comes to cleaning, that's what I'm going to do. I'm also very tempted to get another one of the plastic tubs, because I do believe you can buy them separately. Very tempted to buy another tub so I can have two separate vats, one of cleaner liquid, one as a first wash, so I can whack like cube in for 2 minutes, get the majority of resin off, and that'll leave a little film over it if it's dirtyish resin, and then put that into the cleaner one, and that'll blast that off. And that seems to be getting good results for people, but this is amazing. You just absolutely fantastic stuff, this printer so far. I'm very happy. Anyway guys, that's where I'm at. This is what I've got to do in the coming future. I've got my prints to get sorted, so plenty to get on with. Just for stopping by, give it a like if you liked it. I'll catch you next time. Bye. Well guys, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, like, comment and subscribe. Also be sure to check out our Facebook page at Wolfing Studios, the link's in the description. As always, thanks for stopping by, catch you next time.